Everybody copes differently. You know, when you lose something valuable, when you lose a person, when somebody loses somebody in their life, or loses something that was really of value to them, and it really hurts them, they cope in a way that you don't really think people should cope. And it's not fair because we, on the outside, look at them and say, you know, they're acting ridiculous, they're not acting right, they're acting stupid. But you got to remember that this is how some people cope. Like, you know, when my grandma died a couple years ago, it was on a Tuesday, so I had to go to school. And no, it was on a Wednesday, so I had to go to school. And it was early in the morning when I got the call. And, you know, I just quiet the whole way. My dad's quiet the whole way because it was his mom and all. And I got to school. And I was trying to cope with everything. And that same day, I was going out with this girl, and she dumped me that day. So it was even more heavier on me. And it hurt. But I was going to class, and it was all just a blur until I got to my English class. And my teacher was like, you know, my teacher was all like, Kenny, what's wrong? I was like, you know, my grandma died today, and my girl just broke up with me. And they're like, oh man, like, damn, dude, what the hell? Like, did you tell her? I was going to, but she, you know, she gave me the note and just walked away, and it sucked. And so yeah, I got broken up through a note. But I remember so many things were going through my head, and I was trying my best to cope with it, but I couldn't change anything. I was just, you know, the way people know me as a happy person, as a real joyful person, and I express it no matter what. I'm always happy, I'm always smiling, and I'm always, you know, just laughing. But nobody, you know, I wasn't laughing that day. And that's how people knew there was something wrong. But I cope with it just being quiet. And some people do that, some people don't. You know, so I got through the day, I got to church later that night, I told people about it, and, you know, I prayed about it, of course, and everything. But a couple days later, I felt better, came back, laughing up a storm, joking, and just happy. Because you realize that there is something better probably on the way, something you can take from the experience that you had with that person. I loved my grandma with all my heart. She taught me there's some good values in life. She was blind, she was kind of deaf, but she could still hear you. But when it came to coping, I learned that people cope in so many different ways. And when somebody loses something, like they lose their parents, they lose their sister, they lose a best friend, they lose a husband, to either death or to just, you know, to just life, to just leaving, to breaking total communications. People cope with it in different ways. You know, they sometimes think, okay, I'm better, you know, I'll be all right. They feel more alive, they feel more acceptable of themselves. And on the outside looking in, you just gotta be there for them. You gotta be there for them and help them and tell them, you know, everything will be all right. You know, you can't just, you know, you can't, though it might get tiring at times that you're tired of them hearing about them talking about themselves, or, you know, saying, I'm gonna be all right, I'm gonna be better, I'm gonna come at this, I'm gonna do this. You gotta accept them, embrace them, and help them. Because that's what they need right now. They need you. They need the friends that they call friends to be there. And so you, as a person looking on the outside, and you see somebody coping in a way that you just think is unordinary, it's the way it is. It's how people deal with pain. You know, some people laugh it off, some people talk it off, some people maybe get full of themselves, but it helps them feel better about themselves. To know that I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna be alright, I'm gonna be better than this, I'm gonna overcome this. And it kinda helps when you're coping. You know, you gotta think like, I'm gonna be better because of this. When the person is coping on the outside looking in, help that person out. Don't don't just stay don't just stay back and judge them because they're coping in a way that you don't think is right. Help them out and help them cope the way they feel. Don't build them up though, but build them up a little bit to an extent that they'll feel better about themselves. Be that person, and they'll be better. They'll feel better about themselves.